What's up, guys? It's me again, Christian Rodriguez, and today make it a bit of a quick video, but I wanted to talk about the importance of having a system in place, right? And I'm going to repeat it back to because I've made a video talking about this, but James Clear once, the author of Atomic Habits, once said, "You don't rise to the level. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." Right? And I might have butchered it a little bit, but it's so true. You need to have some sort of systems in place, right? If you want to help achieve your goals, right? Because if you don't rely on a system, you're basically putting it up to chance, and you're relying on willpower. You're relying on willpower, you're relying on discipline, which hey, discipline's good, but I don't think discipline alone. I don't think you should only rely on discipline because discipline is very limited, right? It's like a health bar in a video game, right? Maybe the day starts off with discipline, or some days you have less discipline than others, but by the end of the day, your discipline's low. So you need to have some systems in place so the discipline works, right? And even with business, right? You need to have this. You need to have some sort of system in place, right? What are you going to do really well to get more customers, right? Maybe cold emailing, right? You need to have a system in place for cold emailing. You need to have a system in place if you're going to networking events to speak with. I need to speak with 30 people that day, right? Something like that, right? When I worked in sales, they gave us some sort of law of averages, right? When I did B2B sales, they said the goal is to speak to 50 to reach 50 businesses, right? And I think speak with I don't remember the freaking law of averages, but then the B2C sales speak to 100 people, right? Or get 100 stops. Um but there's always like a system behind it because it's all math, it's all numbers. And that's really what I wanted to talk about because last night I actually like took the time. I had some time, so I actually took the time and I started fixing my habit tracker because there was a bit of a bug, so I had to fix it. It was I kept procrastinating it because it was just really annoying to fix. But then I realized like I needed to fix something in my system, right? Because I wasn't using it, right? It was just a glorified checklist at that point. So I actually put the time. I ended up fixing it, and I feel freaking great about it. And I thought this would be great to talk about. But yeah, I like James Clear even talked about it, right? About tracking your habits, right? He really talks about tracking it, right? Tracking your habits, and that will help you achieve your goals, right? So I do that. Like um, I track, I track what I'm doing for business, right? So I'll track like client outreach. I'll track I'll track how many times I work on N8N, right? Just practicing. It could be anything with N8N, but like how many days do I work on I work with N8N, right? And I also have another channel for it. So like of course I have to work on it often and get better at it each day, right? And then I track things like YouTube, right? Did I post on YouTube that day? I could see it. I could see on my habit tracker if I posted on YouTube. If I recorded, because that's another completely different habit. Did I record? Well, I'm going to check this off because clearly I'm recording right now. Did I hit the gym? Right? I even track, did I do my facial workouts, right? So this is like to work out my face. I track little things like that. I track, did I study French that day? Did I expose myself to French? Did I listen? Right? I count it all. Any exposure to French, I just count it as French lesson. Did I read? Right? I or listen to an audiobook. Right? That's a form of studying that's going to help me reach my goals. So I track that as well. And there's other things I track too. I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to bore you guys to death, but you guys get what I mean. But I remember when I started using the habit tracker over a year ago. I found it easier to stick with my goals. I found it easier to stick with my daily habits, right? It was like it got to the point that I was like, I have to check this box. I have to do it because I see that if I don't do it, then it's going to be empty. It's going to be an empty box. It's not going to be checked off, right? And I don't want you to think of it like a task list, because it's not. Because when you could see the days that you worked on it and then days you didn't, right? Or you see how many days consecutively, like something you do daily, you don't want to end that streak. So when you see there's a streak, you're going to want to keep going. You're more likely, even if you feel tired, fatigued, unmotivated, you're going to want to keep that streak going, right? And I find it easier, right, to just track it. And I notice many successful people track shit, because what you focus on grows. I think Dan Martell once said that. Whatever you focus on grows, right? So I want to track my finances. That's something I've been struggling to track. Some days I would skip it. So I have it on my habit tracker so I can look at it daily, right? Because whatever you focus on grows. I track my macros too. That's another thing I track. And I noticed that my fitness goals, I found it easier to reach my fitness goals once I started tracking my macros, because I was realizing how much protein I wasn't eating, how much protein I was eating, things like that. And another thing I started tracking recently is so I track my mood, right? So I have it in 3 different categories, my mood for that day. So I have one for positive, one for neutral, and one for negative, right? And the reason why I do that, right? So the plan is, at least the goal for it is, right, I'm still like new to the city, but when I start working with a business partner, or when I'm dating a new woman, even like making friends, I just want to be able to track my mood, or like my emotions, right? For the days that I see them. And the reason why I say that's important, right, is because you never know, right? If you see a streak of 4 for positive emotions, I'm just like, okay. Every time I'm around this person, I always have a positive. I always feel positive around them. This is someone that I want to keep around. This is someone that I want to build with, or someone that I want a part of my life. And I'm gonna put more time to them because they're clearly giving me energy, right? Neutral, which is 90% of people, most people that you meet, so it's not that big of a deal. But if you start seeing a negative trend, like you see negative emotion after negative emotion, you're like, okay, this is something to concern. I need to address this. And this is how entrepreneurs think, right? This is how they measure KPIs, key performance indicators. This is how they measure different things, different stats. And you could do this. You could do this for your business, but you could also do this for your personal life, right? And then this is how you have structure in your life. You have a system in place. And then you don't rely on, as I've said before, you don't rely on discipline. You don't rely on willpower. You don't rely on crap. You don't rely on just chance, right? Because you know what? Today I feel great, but tomorrow I might just wake up not in a mood. I might feel like shit. I might be like, I don't want to do any of this. So I can't just rely on willpower. I just have to do it. And that's why I make these videos, because you need to have some sort of system in place, right? Don't just leave it to chance. And I've created a video in the past on how to create how I use my habit tracker. There's a creator, I forgot his freaking name, but there's a creator online, and that's how I created my habit tracker based on the video that he posted. But I made a little tweak for mine. I made a little tweak so I can also keep track of how many times I've done it. But yeah, you could start. I might link that video just so you guys could see, and I don't think he would mind. It's free marketing. It's free marketing for him, so I doubt he would mind. But I appreciate you guys for watching. And if you want more videos like this, you find value in my videos, subscribe, and I promise I'm going to keep making more videos. So take care.